When you have a movie about a woman set on revenge of killing a group of people, written and directed by Quentin Tarantino with a ton of samurai swords, you can sign me up for that one. I'm aboard for that one. So Kill Bill Volume 1 is written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, as I said. And Tarantino is one of my favorite directors going. Kill Bill originally was supposed to be one movie set across 4 hours long. It was supposed to have an intermission somewhere in between, and they just end up chopping it into two movies, Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2. In this movie, Uma Thurman plays a bride who was supposed to be killed on her wedding day. She was left for dead, and 9 other people at her wedding altar was killed. The thing is, she was left for dead. She was supposed to be dead, but she's not dead, and now she wants revenge. There's so many different elements and so many different inspirations you can see in this movie. Obviously, the martial arts with the samurai swords and the fighting, you can see a little bit of 80s films and things like that, and 70s and just pretty much 70s and 80s films you can definitely see in this movie. This movie, there is a lot of scenes where characters speak in Japanese, but there's no subtitles. Now, I can understand it when one of the characters is American or there is a non-speaking Japanese character in the scene, but when you have two characters that clearly speak Japanese, at some point I would like to see some subtitles. I would like to understand what is going on in the movie. In a Tarantino movie, there is a bunch of crazy stuff you see and a lot of things that just don't make sense. So she escapes the hospital. She goes into a man's car, a dead man's car who died in the hospital. She stays in his car for 13 hours and no one searches the dead man's car. Like, there is, like I said, there is things in this movie that just don't make sense for no reason. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is one character, he's talking completely nonsense, and someone runs across the table and chops his head off. The head goes flying in the air, and blood sprays all over the place in fashion Tarantino way. That was a great scene amongst other scenes in this movie. When you have a movie that's taking a lot of inspiration from different genres, you have a chance of a movie being a total screw up. Now, this movie is not a total screw up by any way, but there's just a lot of flash, there's a lot of style, but there's just not enough strong substance besides the fighting in this for me. Now, for me, this movie just banks off its final scene where Uma Thurman fights a huge group of Yakuza. She fights my favorite character in the movie, Gogo. I just feel like this movie just stands alone only because of the last fight scene. Like I said, this movie I watched it a few times and I just feel like this movie just really doesn't do anything for me. In this movie, the fighting were great, the women in this were great. Tarantino, one of my favorite directors, but I feel like his writing is the best thing of him. I feel like this movie is not one of his sexiest dialogue written films. To me, it's just not. There's just a lot of genres in this. I just felt like this movie needed to just be simmered down just with as far as inspiration from so many different genres, and it would be a perfect movie. People love this movie. This movie really did not do anything for me. So 65. I gotta go 65 out of 100 for Kill Bill Volume 1. I will be doing a review on Kill Bill Volume 2. So get in the comment section, let me know your thoughts. I'm out of here.